Okay, you just saw 90 minutes. How can you still be undecided? Please explain that to me.
Well, can I go
It was a
first?
disaster.
Go ahead. Kimberly, go ahead.
Well, I'm still undecided because they really didn't answer the questions that I was looking for. I really wanted to hear more in depth about race relations and the civil unrest. I also wanted to talk about, I wanted them to talk about how they were going to help the American public when it comes to COVID-19. Now, we've already had the first stimulus, but nobody really talked about, how they're actually going to help the American public. They're still talking about corporations. They're still talking about the vaccine, but they're not talking about putting dollars in the pockets of the American people. So I'm still undecided.
Somebody else, why are you still undecided after 90 minutes of this debate? Somebody else, jump in. Mike.
I kind of went into this expecting to see whether or not Biden had the capacity to remain strong for the entire 90 minutes. And I think I would characterize him as having won the debate because there was no significant gap. There was no significant mistake that he made. But I still am not entirely convinced. I almost feel like I need to see another debate now just to confirm what I saw tonight in terms of Biden's ability to stand up to Trump.
Trump is annoying. He's unpresidential, at least in our definition, historically of what presidential is. And he's annoying, and it's like nails on a chalkboard, but him acting that way doesn't necessarily impact my bottom line. What I care about is the economy, and I care about law and order. Being here in Wisconsin, having to deal with Kenosha and Madison, and being afraid, for my communities, and seeing what happened. I've seen videos of when the federal agents were finally sent into Kenosha, and there was Antifa filling up gas cans, and they swarmed in unmarked cars and made me feel safe. I mean, that's what impacts me. And I liked his answer on law and order.
So here's what I'd like to do. I want you to give me a word or phrase to describe the performance of both candidates. I'm going to call on you and then respond. Word or phrase, do not give me an explanation. Just one word or phrase. Let's start with Donald Trump. Michelle, word or phrase to describe Donald Trump tonight.
Horrid.
Sorry.
Sarah.
Chaotic.
Rob.
Unpolished.
Ruthie.
Crackhead.
Katie.
Ants.
I don't know how to spell that. Kimberly.
Puzzling.
Jeremy.
Un-American.
Say that again.
Un-American.
Mike.
Unhinged.
Nick.
An ass, but a confident ass.
Okay. Joe.
That was classic Trump.
Oh,
Say
sorry.
again. Joe, say again.
Classic Trump.
Luke.
Forceful.
Joe from Arizona.
Unhinged.
Jerry.
Bully.
Jennifer.
Arrogant.
Cheryl.
That was my word, arrogant. Same
And
thing.
Travis.
Typical.
Okay, we're going to start with Rob. I want a word or phrase to describe Joe Biden tonight.
A surprise, actually, compared to what the media kind of put him up to be. So I was surprised at how well he did. I was expecting a little less out of his answer. So he did a good job.
Travis, word or phrase to describe Joe Biden tonight.
Better than expected.
Better than expected. Cheryl, word or phrase.
I would say that he was definitely more professional than Trump. And I think he's more a people person. I really do.
Jennifer.
Confident.
Jerry.
Politician.
Joe from North Carolina.
He showed restraint and compassion.
Luke from Wisconsin.
I have to agree 100% with the politician.
Which one?
Politician.
Joe from Arizona.
Predictable.
Nick.
Nice guy, but lacking vision.
Mike.
Coherent.
Jeremy, sorry.
I just think leader.
Kimberly.
Attentive and rehearsed.
Katie.
First and
I can't hear you.
somewhat evasive. I don't think he answered every question as asked.
Ruthie,
Humanity and integrity.
Sarah, word or phrase to describe Biden.
Oh, I'm sorry. Predictable.
And Michelle.
Presidential.
Okay. What advice do you give Joe Biden for the next debate?
I mean, I don't like the incivility, but I do get it. Biden is trying to get the people who just hate Donald Trump and they don't necessarily love Biden. He's trying to get them to be like, yes, you know, get him, Uncle Joe. And so I get that strategy. And if I was advising him, I would actually tell him to keep doing it. And
Yeah,
I
but
feel
you know
really
what?
bad saying that.
But you know what's wrong with that strategy? What's wrong with that strategy is that you're turning off a lot of people to the point where a lot of people don't want to vote. So you got to understand, no vote is a vote for Mr. Trump. So we got to be smarter than that. People got to be smarter. My advice to Biden would be this: stay focused and stay away from doing the things that Trump does. So the behavior cannot be the same, because anytime you see two people who are constantly calling each other out their names, a lot of people are going to get turned off. So if they was going to vote for him, maybe tonight they said, you know what, I don't want either one of them. And now you find yourself under the rock. So you got to be very careful about your behavior, especially if you want to be president of the United States.
Because they both were. No. Hold on. They were both.
Yeah, they both were.
They were both bickering at each other like two old men in a nursing home arguing over the last pudding cup. And if you're going on that Trump was acting that way, so was Biden, not to the same extent, but he was, and you have to acknowledge that.
Yeah, when my 11-year-old said this show's embarrassing, turn the channel, I said we need to get two other parties on that stage just to get rid of the bitterness that was on the stage. That was embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
I personally it's a dartboard for me right now. Who's going to win it? I don't know.
Okay, guys, we're going to end this, and you're going to give advice to the two candidates. The first piece of advice is going to be to Joe Biden. And again, I'm going to go through each one of you. A sentence. Joe Biden is sitting in front of you. What should he do in the next and the third debate? What should Joe Biden do for you in the next two debates to get your vote? And please don't tell me, be more specific. I really want an answer that I can work with. So Rob, you're an Iowa voter. Your state matters. What should Joe Biden do to get your vote?
Talk to me about where this budget's, where should it stop? When is enough debt enough? Explain that to me.
That's good. Jennifer, what does Joe Biden need to do?
Answer good questions. I don't have a specific thing right now except to answer, be more specific in answering the question. Don't sway from exactly what the question was onto other things like he tended to do, as well as Trump.
Travis, what do you want from Joe Biden?
Keep your answers short, Joe, and be a better version of yourself.
Cheryl, he's standing in front of you. What should Joe Biden do?
Keep looking straight at the American people and really do something for them.
Jerry, Joe Biden, give him advice.
I would like to see him own up to the failures of Obama and Biden administration, admit what they were, where they were, and what he might change about them.
Nick, Joe Biden's in front of you. What does he do? What should he do?
Focus on the positive future that he can create.
Katie, Joe Biden's in front of you. What should he do?
Explain to me how he's not raising my taxes if he reverses the cuts.
Okay, that's pretty good. Last question. Donald Trump is standing in front of you. Kimberly, what should he do?
Lay out your plan.
Wow.
Jeremy, what should Donald Trump do to get your vote?
She said she stole mine. Actually, tell me what your plan is. Don't tell me you have a plan.
Joe,
Stop making my wife mad. Good Lord, you make her just go crazy.
We're going to top that. Joe from North Carolina, what should Donald Trump do to get your vote?
It's absolutely about appearing more presidential, being thoughtful and giving specifics on a vision for the economy and a vision for the country.
Luke, how would you answer that question?
Rather than interrupting and turning people off that way. You can be loud and boisterous, but tell us about your record and why it's better than the other guy.
Michelle, how do you answer that question for Donald Trump?
He needs to talk about what, where's the stimulus, the second stimulus that so many people need.
Sarah, what's your answer?
Answer the questions that are asked of you. Don't divert onto other topics that aren't relevant at the time.
Cheryl, Donald Trump standing right in front of you. What do you tell him?
See you later, buddy.
You're no longer undecided.
Oh no, I'm done. I'm done with that one.
Okay, and Jennifer, I'll do you, and then we'll call it a night.
Basically, be more specific with a plan. We want to hear a plan, not you got a plan. Shoot, can we be in on the plan?
Okay, guys, I want to thank you very much for doing this. I promised I'd have you out in an hour. You are the most important people, and you come from the most important states. You all really matter in this, and this is why we talk to you. Because in the end, there's only 2.4% of Americans that are undecided and come from states that could potentially vote for either candidate. And that's why we gathered you. And I'm grateful for how candid you were. And I'm grateful for the fact that you took this so seriously. It's really important.
Why not?
Here's my thing. I think we're in trouble. I don't think no one wants to live in a society where everybody is scared. They're afraid of each other.
Right.
We're walking a tightrope, and we want somebody, in office who's going to calm the storm, because right now we're going through a thunderstorm. We're going through a hurricane, and no one has a plan. They say we have a plan, but there's nothing detailed about it. And I want to hear the details.
Yeah.
I want to see these presidents come down and work with our local officials and our activists and the people who are causing the ruckus. Because the only way you can resolve things is if you come and talk and you have a viable plan. Just don't give me a stump speech. I want to see action that's going to bring about an amicable resolve for everybody. And we're not perfect, but darn it, we can try to get there. So this is where I stand.